And it looks like old Florida man's back at it again. Welcome back, guys, to this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. And speaking of Florida man, we might as well make that our subject this week. We'll talk a little bit about what Florida man is, where it kind of came from, and what you can expect from him. But before we get this episode started, as you guys know, 2023 is the year of giving here on the Broncos Guru channel, and that tradition continues today as we'll be giving away a Drain Plug Mafia tumbler. Really simple. All you have to do to win, hit the like button now, leave a comment at the end of the video, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and we're going to pick one of our comments, and somebody's going to win a tumbler. But let's go ahead and get this episode started. And Florida man is something you've probably heard of. In fact, it's been around for almost a decade now. Florida man really kind of became to its own thing back around 2013, precisely 10 years ago. And really, it came from a meme, kind of idolizing men down in Florida doing some kind of irrational things. In fact, if we go to the old Wikipedia and look up what their version of the definition of this is going to say Florida man is an internet meme first popularized back around 2013, referring to an alleged prevalence of men performing irrational, maniacal, illogical, delusional, insane, and absurd acts while being in the state of Florida. Now, originally this kind of started with people talking about insane crimes, people doing crimes that made absolutely no sense whatsoever. But it's since much evolved to where it incorporates just about everything anymore, Florida-based, where you see people just doing things that you know they should not be doing. Now, not everybody who's from Florida that is a male will fall into the category of Florida man. It does take a special breed of person to do so. In fact, most people you'll meet in Florida won't fall into this category at all. Kind of reminds me of that Jeff Foxworthy joke, here's your sign, because Florida man typically is pretty easy to spot though. You will see them out there doing acts that just make you scratch your head the second you see it. Now, Florida man's gonna have some key traits. One of the first traits you're gonna notice about Florida man's, he's gonna be one of those no F's given kind of people. That's right, they're gonna think they can do everything with anything. It's not gonna matter and they don't care who gets in their way. Also, one of those hold my beer and watch this kind of people for sure.
I was thinking in that tundra. Florida. That makes sense.
And that's where we've kind of gotten to with Florida man today. When we see something crazy in the news cycle or online, some kind of video that just doesn't make sense, one of the first things that comes to mind anymore is I bet that's Florida. Now, one of the things I do find interesting about Florida man though, it's a very broad definition. Even though it says most of these acts will come from the US state of Florida, the reality is I think we can extend Florida man well beyond that anymore and just into the actions. Now, I think Florida gets popularized by this, especially in boating, but one of the main reasons is probably due to the fact that Florida's got such a long boating season and so many boaters in it that of course they're going to be more prone to having some incidents occur than maybe somebody, let's say, in New York. And the reason being, New York probably has fewer registered boaters, and I could be wrong, I'm sure somebody will let me know in the comments if I am, but the other thing that's big is New York's boating season significantly shorter. I know a bunch of people in New York that only boat 2 to 3 months out of the year. Well, in Florida, these guys are going at it 12 months out of the year, giving them a little more time to find themselves in some mischief. And another thing you've got to take into consideration when you consider the Florida man meme, well, it's not just people from Florida. That's right, a lot of people go on vacation in Florida. And guess what happens when you go take yourself a nice Florida vacation? Typically, you wind up a little looser than you would if you were back home in New York, which means there's probably a few extra adult beverages flowing, which of course will lead people to being in situations they may not normally be in, or being in a situation where they typically would see the outcome and all of a sudden now they can't. One of the big things I think that still adds to this is going to be that looser lifestyle in Florida. So it's not just tourists down there having a good time on the water, the Floridians are down there having a great time on the water as well. If you've ever boated in Florida, hit any of the sandbars or any of the popular spots, I will rival those parties and the things going on at those sandbars with just about anywhere in the country. So much so that it's almost surprising to me that some of the footage I get from Florida never even airs. I get so many Florida man clips sent to me and so many Florida man clips we catch on some of the stuff we film in the Miami area that never see the light of day because they're just too over the top for us even to be able to put on any of our channels. But it just reminds you of how that Florida man meme lives today and how people on the water keep it alive and well. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening out on your waterways, be sure to hit us up on Facebook or Instagram and let us know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like A Mate's Life, Blackwell Boatworks, Mermaid Cass, Mike Lum, Zavario, Peter239, Clayton W, JK Maw 1217, Destiny Ortiz, and Miami Boat Ramps did this week. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.